Hey, welcome to Hearsays. I'm Paul,
And I'm Patrick.
and today we're going to talk about our first month of 2023 roundup. Obviously, January. January comes first.
Yeah.
Uh,
This is
so
our this is the first of the year. It feels weird. So welcome to 2023, everybody. This is a news roundup of 2023 so far, because it's the only time we do a monthly roundup where it will cover the whole year. So it's a bit cheating. The January one is covering the whole year, which is pretty good.
it's a pretty good, yeah, it's a pretty fun one as well because out of all the things that we've talked about prior to this, it gets to kind of see how it kicks off what we think the year is going to be like, kind of thing. So, which I'm excited for. I'm excited.
Yeah, I nobody likes. Let's face it, nobody likes January for lots of reasons. Usually, it's the weather, or people have holidays at the end of the previous year, and then they have to go back to work and all sorts of stuff. But you do, from an entertainment point of view, you get to have some fun. You get award season and other stuff, which we'll talk about. But Paul, if you don't mind, I'm going to kick off with our first news story for this month, and that is, well, lots of myths are being dispelled straight away in 2023. So in movies, folks, for anybody who doesn't hasn't heard of the phrase dump months, the dump months are January and February. That's when you
Yep.
just dump out movies that you don't have a whole lot of confidence in. Well, there's a little film called Megan, or as somebody people know it as, the thing that's like Chucky except more modern and with
Yeah.
TikTok dances. I haven't
Yep.
seen Megan yet, but I've seen the trailer and it did tickle me. The trailer made me both intrigued and made me laugh out loud. But Megan's done that cool thing. It's a movie that's come out in the dead, quote unquote, time of year,
Mhm.
and has like done 10 times its budget. So it is making money hand over fist. It's been a huge hit. So much for dump months, Paul.
Yeah.
I think we're pretty good on that front. Then I think the other big myth is, if you turn to the TV side of the landscape, you've got never make anything based on a video game, because video game properties are universally terrible. They're all awful, unless, of course, you're the TV show The Last of Us, in which case you're also getting, you're coming out to rave reviews. Now, I know it's only a couple of episodes in, and I haven't watched it yet either, but The Last of Us is getting thumbs up all around from people, Paul. So Megan and The Last of Us, good start to 2023 for Hollywood movie and TV respectively.
This is the interesting thing. So which is Megan was an interesting movie. I won't really talk about it too much. Which is, but I got to see it. It is, yeah, it as a horror fan, it's a fun, kind of creepy, funny, kind of, yeah, Chucky esque kind of thing with a little bit more of a twist. But it's just being clever in the way that it's doing certain things and stuff. So it's been a great one. Last of Us and the other thing, I haven't started it yet, but I've been seen to games, seen direct comparisons and stuff like that, kind of thing, which I'm not. I'll hold judgment for now on it, kind of thing. I like, it looked really good. I loved the games, which goes, but we'll have to see how it pans out. Is it just a shot for shot remake of the game essentially? It's going to be interesting to kind of have a look, but it's been really popular so far, so not gonna,
Yeah,
you know.
it's off to a good sign. It's just on the wrong service since HBO Max. Hear us, HBO Max. Hear us out,
Yeah,
HBO Max. Please give us a chance and get yourselves away from Sky, so us folk in the Sky UK and Ireland region can access your stuff without having to join their juggernaut. Paul, there's a couple of great comments. Lisa's pointed out we're just in the wrong country for a good January for a few good reasons. Fair play. Good to hear from you, Lisa. Brian saw Megan. So Brian, I'm gonna try and find, you say it was all right. Okay. You want to see Housebound. Can't wait. I want an uncut version of Megan. I'm pretty sure there'll be an extended DVD, a director's cut DVD, a redux, because everything these days has at least 5 cuts by the time they finish milking it,
yeah,
even with the streaming world, because they like to get different VOD money. But yeah, Paul. So I think it's from a even before the award show type stuff. I think it's been a good, strong start to the this season, or to the year, I should say.
Yeah, I just want to point out Housebound is actually a very good movie. It's a very good like little independent kind of movie as well, which I like. Yeah, I knew that Megan was being made by it, so or Megan was made by the director, so it's very good. But yeah,
And Lisa's quickly commented in there to say if you throw Pedro Pascal at it, it makes something better. It's good advice. It's
yeah.
good advice. If we could get Pedro Pascal on here, I think it would make this better and
that'll
probably more popular, Paul. So if anybody knows Pedro,
that'd be amazing. Because we could
Yeah.
possibly get Nick Cage on us then as well, and we could just
Oh.
reenact some stuff.
yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, the reason that this is also known as a dump month is also just because all of the award shows, all the award movies, are starting to kind of trickle out from the kind of festivals and everything like that into the cinemas. So this is kind of not a good month to put your scary haunted doll robot thing up against some pretty good, kind of acted movies. But yeah, Megan, and a couple of others are proving that entertainment is entertainment, and if it's good, it's good. So
that's it. Scary haunted robot doll for the win. All right, Paul, what's up next?
So the awards shows, which because that's coming up soon, so we might as well give a little bit of talk about that. So we've just had the
Golden Globes
Golden
have happened.
Globes. So
And we've got the SAG Awards coming up, the Screen Actors Guild, and then of course is the big one, the Oscars, which the nominations have come out this week. So it's real talk about Oscar season. But first of all, did you watch the Golden Globes?
I watched a little bit of it. Yes, yeah. Which was it was an interesting one. Obviously, which was some breakout winners of everything everywhere all at once was some fantastic news, which is great.
You knew I was going to be happy since I went to see it last year, and I was like, everybody please see this film because I fear it's going to disappear without anybody ever seeing it. Little did I know that maybe it was me. Little did I know word of mouth would get this in front of people and that it's actually getting recognized for the genius that it is. So I was over the moon with that.
Yeah, no, it's been it was interesting. It was an interesting feeling after the controversies in the Golden Globes at the start, and then it kind of trolled along as it usually does. But it's been great to see some winners out there that were like just nicely heartfelt speeches and stuff like that, which were great.
Yeah. Jennifer Coolidge she stole the show, and I'm not going to do my impression, but she was truly awesome. Yeah, I watched it and I missed about 15 to 20% of the start of it, unfortunately, just because of something else that was going on. But I watched it and enjoyed it, and it gave me that feeling of, maybe this year I will watch some award shows, because I've kind of over the last couple of years just fallen away, as has been documented on this channel with me talking about how much I couldn't give a damn about them anymore. But as with everything else, I think as people are feeling more free to express themselves, it's making it fun. And Jared Carmichael, who I was lucky enough to see live once in the Comedy Store in LA, I thought he did a very interesting and very him version of hosting. And there was a Tom Cruise Scientology joke in there that I can't believe didn't blow up more on the internet and get him in more trouble. But it would appear that it's flown in under the radar. So sorry if I'm blowing up your spot here, Jared.
No. It was a good hosting. So like I couldn't say more, especially brings like a little bit more life back into the Golden Globes. So,
and are you happy enough with I'm not going to say the winners so far, but are you happy enough with the kind of, let's say, the Oscar nominees? So the Oscar nominations came out the other day, and obviously Banshees of Inisherin and Everything Everywhere All at Once are doing wonderfully well.
Yeah.
I happen to really like both those movies. Now, I know not everybody likes both those movies. I know for sure that an awful lot of people didn't get to see Everything Everywhere All at Once in the cinema, because I went to it specifically so that they'd sell at least one ticket in this country, because it didn't get pushed, supported, or even talked about. Banshees of Inisherin is the exact opposite in this country because it relates to Irish stuff. Every bugger in the country's watched it.
Yeah.
But I rate them both. I enjoyed them both. Obviously, my favorite film in the last number of years is Everything Everywhere All at Once. But I'm kind of glad, particularly for Colin Farrell. I'm kind of glad that Banshees is doing so well. and also for Martin McDonagh, because people forget that he did, three billboards outside of Ebbing, Missouri. People remember that as a great film and don't associate it with him. Everybody goes straight to In Bruges or, the other Colin Farrell, Brendan Gleeson movie.
Yeah, yeah. The Banshees of Inisherin have been very good. I've been enjoying the fact that which is Colin Farrell seems to be having a resurgence recently as well with the Batman as the Penguin, and that's also getting a breakout kind of. That's still debate actually. The Penguin, the Penguin out thing is kind of getting a little bit of a wave right now, just because with the DC kind of mix up, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Everything everywhere all at once, was just, it is a sin, Patrick. It is a sin that I still have not seen that film, and I will. I have to.
And do you know what bothers me? It's now unnecessarily hyped. I think it's good enough that it will meet any bar somebody sets for it, as long as they watch it with an open mind. But anybody who sits down thinking, "Well, impress me," movie, is probably going to miss out on a great. And now I know you won't, but I think we both know people who will, who haven't seen it yet, and it's like they're going to be the ones coming back going, "Oh, it wasn't fun. I didn't get it. It wasn't even entertaining. It's overrated." And you're like, well, if you'd watched it before the hype, you wouldn't be saying that.
Yeah, I do want to. I'm going to try this year, 2023. Hold me to it, everybody. I want to try and watch every film that I think is going to be nominated for the Oscars in 2024. Because my problem with the other ones is the fact is that my problem with not seeing them is because when you're heard that they're nominated, you do have an expectation of kind of being good. Whereas if I myself have an expectation of this might be an Oscar movie, so I better go watch it, I can make up my own mind before it's nominated or not nominated, kind of thing. So on the rewards kind of thing of which is the nominees and stuff like that, yeah, it's an interesting band of nominees and stuff like that. So I'm happy to see kind of the Oscars spreading a little bit of more kind of across the bands. Like Maverick would have never gotten an eye in anywhere kind of thing originally. And
it deserves a mention because it's we did our picks from last year, and I think I put it second after Everything Everywhere. There's all types of cinema. And it's great to see that we could actually start recognizing all types of cinema.
Yeah, that's a really good thing. Is the Maverick is a great film simply because it transports you away and makes you forget about everything else. It just keeps you in the moment, which is just, I'm glad to see the Oscars kind of taking that and kind of going, yeah, no, it definitely deserves a kind of mention. Look, I see that Lisa was like, I was shocked that Maverick got 6 nominations. I'm not, in the sense that it's like cinematography alone, like it's dead. Like even if it wasn't in anywhere else, I would just be like, it's definitely getting a mention, and it's getting a nomination in cinematography. There's no way that it's not, Brian Bruce says that they're ignoring horror. Yeah, they always ignore horror. Everybody ignores horror.
Well, I don't have a dog in that fight, so to speak. But are they ignoring horror? Are there horror movies that you think should be in consideration at the moment that would oust other stuff?
Not in this nominations, no. But there has been in some in the past in which I would just be like, I don't understand why that hasn't gotten a leg in somewhere. Kind of thing there.
Well, you see, Spielberg said what we've been saying for quite a while, and I think he's right this year in particular. If The Dark Knight had come out in 2022, it would be nominated, no problem, without any questions asked, because times have changed. And I think it's things like that. If you took a few years back, there's films that weren't nominated then that probably would be now. So I think there's hope in the future for maybe more open-mindedness as far as what's going to get nominated from certain genres like horror.
Yeah.
So I have hope for the future. Also, Bruce says it's A24 for Everything Everywhere. Yes, it is. And that's not the reason you should have seen it. It's because I've been banging on about it on this channel for a year.
Yeah.
Good God, man. Um, and I got to call it Lisa's comment. There is some friend had posted that Everything Everywhere is terrible and couldn't get through more than 30 minutes of it. I think you find anybody who starts saying that, oh, I'm halfway through this and it's rubbish, or, I'm 10 minutes in and I hate this, they're not ready to watch the film. They should probably have stopped and just started again another time. It's usually a bad, because it's something I learned about myself. That's why I have some half-watched films that I want to go back and give a proper go to. And I think Everything Everywhere, oh, if you're not in the mood for it, don't watch it. Just start again another time.
Yeah, yeah, no, I definitely get that kind of thing where, like, there's certain films that I would definitely feel more in the mood for than I would in others, kind of thing. Like the Banshee, I definitely have to figure a time when I'm just like, I'm ready for this kind of movie. Not that I know what kind of movie it's going to be, but it's kind of one
But
that's
you're taking educated guesses though, Paul, because I think you've got a feeling, and I think you're probably right about that feeling.
yeah, because like there's times when I'm just like, it's if I watch a film, obviously I'm like everybody else. If I watch a certain film at a certain time when feeling a certain thing, it may impact how I feel about it. It's why I think that I really like Dark World and you don't. I think you watched it at the wrong time, Patrick. I just think that's what I think. I think you watched it at the wrong time, which is the same. Which you could say the
Just
same
so
for
everybody's
Captain
clear,
America.
Paul's talking about Thor 2, Dark World, and I invite you all to go and watch it, and then come back and comment on this video and see if
Masterpiece.
we should get Paul help.
It's a masterpiece. It's a masterpiece. Like look,
It
look.
is.
Comparison to Love and Thunder, it's a masterpiece. Anyway, so on some. I'm just winding.
I'm leaving that one out there.
Which is, yeah. So we'll jump into some of the other things I've been mentioning quite a bit, which is Mr. Old James Gunn. James Gunn has been in the news recently, which is for many reasons, obviously. Which is the Henry Cavill kind of outrage, which is DC change ups and everything like that. So it makes sense that which is we've had a very kind of which is turbulent time of the changeover from new management and stuff like that. But James Gunn is starting to hit back, which goes in a lot of different ways. Which goes, this originally was going to be about the story of, the cat story on Instagram where he posted up a picture of his cat, and a commenter was just like, no one gives a shit about your cat, and then he like
I do. I think it's a gorgeous cat, to be honest.
He is a beautiful family, beautiful home life, and everything like that. Which goes, but he's been having some tough times, which goes with the old DCU kind of changeovers and stuff like that. Which I was telling Patrick actually before the show that I have a feeling that he's the kind of person that has like the golden ticket, but he's just like, no, you have to wait. You have to wait. I'm sorry, but you have to wait. I have the golden ticket right here, but you just got to wait. Like, I know that you're all banging on about how I don't have the golden ticket and how everything I'm doing is destroying everything, but you just got to wait kind of thing. He's getting, I feel like he's getting a little frustrated because, like, if you look at his body of work, like, he does have a great body of work, kind of thing. So, like,
he doesn't have a whole lot to prove. It's true.
So, like, I think it's just because there's, it's also funny to see the DC fan base being so up in arms about someone actually taking control and deciding to try and make, do this in the right way kind of thing and try and make a more coherent kind of universe and stuff. And then, but everybody hates change. So
I'll be honest with you. I think it's one of the fan bases that just nobody could make them happy at this stage. There's just been such a history of, we want the Ayer cut, the Snyder cut, the, Goyer cut, whatever it might be. It's I'm not going to get into the whole toxic fandom side of things. That's not what I'm saying, so nobody get offended. I'm more saying at this point there's almost a learned rage to it all that people are having difficulty getting out of. So yeah, patience is hard for the fan base to find right now, and I think when they do, who knows whether or not James Gunn will get it right, but I think everybody will be happier once things start happening and they work out whether or not it's genuine outrage or if it was just pent up rage. Because there'll be some people at least then that will be happy with whatever happens, because at least some people are happy some of the time, not all of them all the time.
Yeah, like we haven't gotten a film yet that's made from the James Gunn and Peter Sanchez, like Safran, which is DCU yet, kind of thing. So like, every film that's coming out now is still part of what we'll call the old guard of DCEU. So like, yeah, I don't know why people are so up in arms right now myself, but I can definitely understand in some respects of why people might be up in arms, because recently enough the announcement of the cancellation of Doom Patrol, which was a very popular DC show, and I believe also Titans has also been recently or is, there's rumors either it has
Yeah,
been
it's
or
either rumored
rumors,
or it's happening. Yeah.
yeah, kind of thing, whereas Doom Patrol has been announced that it is going to be cancelled. But once again, James Gunn is hitting back on a lot of things, and he posted out the fact that, like, you know, this predates him, and this is a thing that was predates himself, and which is Peter. So it's not really kind of his call. And another tweet specifically asks, you know, could we see these characters like later on in your DCU? And he didn't rule it out. He just said that we cannot keep a TV show going indefinitely. But
Yeah.
so like we might not see, it might not be the last time that we see the Doom Patrol, which was in the DCU. We just might see, it might be the last time that we see them as a TV series. So
To the fans, to all the DC fans, the ones that are happy, unhappy, etc. You know, there are people who weren't into Doom Patrol saying, "Oh, well, you know, this is good news." You know, there's always a percentage one way or the other. But to everybody involved, I say, what a wise man once shouted across a pub at a table that were getting rowdy, and there was about to be a fight. And I thought it was the best thing, because the guy did just one word. He pointed his finger out and he went, "Settle." And it was caught everybody's attention, and the whole table all of a sudden was like, "Oh, we're being a bit unreasonable," and kind of stopped arguing and stopped escalating. So to all the DC fans, I say, settle, just chill. It'll be all right. We'll see what happens next. Everybody relax a little bit more.
yeah, just
Settle.
calm your cacks, as the
Yeah,
Irish say.
exactly.
Should we go on to some of the tweet or on the comments?
Sure.
I'd finally sit down and watch the original Top Gun so I could watch Maverick. So I thought that She Said would get some nominations and got zero. Yeah, like it's been a mixed bag kind of thing with the nominations as well. Some of them have been.
I wonder with that one, is it too close to Hollywood for Hollywood to acknowledge? I wonder, is that one of the last true taboos? Because especially around the Oscars and Harvey Weinstein's history with Oscar campaigns, I have yet to see it, and I've heard great things, and I still really want to see it. So damn it, I better get that done. But yeah, if it's as good as people are saying, I'm also surprised it didn't get any nominations. But I wonder, is it one of those things that we're just never going to see? Like the Oscars looking at themselves almost, because that's sort of what it would be.
Yeah, I get that the kind of like self-deprecating kind of like thing. There's a possibility there, that it is that. But I don't know. It also could be just as they nominate wider variety of stuff, that some really good stuff is also going to be pushed out of the way, which is the only
That's true
problem.
too.
Because sadly you can't nominate like 20
Everyone.
things, and yeah,
Yeah.
kind of thing. Um, yeah, she does. Like the Northman should have gotten something for cinematography. I think the problem with the Northman is I think it got left out a little bit further in the cold. Not to make a joke about that,
No
but
pun there.
I think yeah, because like it got a big kind of I think it was a flash in the pan movie. I know it shouldn't be and stuff like that, but I heard around the time of the opening, it was very big, and then like about a month after that I'd never heard about it again, which was disappointing, because it's a very good movie, which goes you're gonna have to go see Shape of Water, or Shape of Water, The Way of Water.
Avatar
um,
2. Yikes.
yeah. Dark World is objectively the worst MCU film. Nah.
Read that a moment ago and smiled quite widely. If anybody wants to rewind their tape, the big smile on my face was when I saw Dark World, and I'd like to repeat that comment, just Paul. Dark World is objectively the worst MCU film. So we've got at least one vote for pure sanity there. Thank you very much.
You know, it doesn't matter what Lisa's opinion is. Like, you know, it's not like she has a podcast that's, you know, and now shorts on YouTube that we should have to listen to her opinion even more. You know, if you don't know what I'm talking about, It Takes Two, which is a podcast with a friend of the show, Lisa,
and now YouTube channel. Yep. So check them
out. Going on our turf.
Turf war.
Be less call outs now. And then I thought you said Mr. Old Man. I was wondering. Okay. But yeah, so which is James Gunn's kind of gotten a little bit of a beat up and stuff like that, and I think he doesn't deserve it. And I do. This is the whole problem with fan bases of comic book movies and stuff like that. They are very passionate, which we are.
Chill out, everybody, and if you can't do that, then just settle. Paul, we're coming up on ad break time pretty soon. If you would like to prepare our way there, and then we'll come back to you folks with a last couple of stories for this month and so far this year.
Yeah, quick little thing. See you later in a couple of minutes.
See you in a second.
Hey, and we're back. Sorry about the little tiny delay there, kind of thing. But yeah, we are back. Enjoy that little.
I don't even know which ad just played, but I hope you enjoyed it, folks. If we can say to everybody, there was one other thing that happened in the news this year, Paul. I would say that we've already started off with quite the litigious surprises, things in the courts around Hollywood. And even up to today, when more stuff is happening, which we're not kind of massive into gossip or TMZ style stuff. But it's worth mentioning that this month we've had, Ezra Miller took a plea deal for one of their various things from the last few years. So they've had a tough time, let's say. They recognize that they've had a tough time. They said they were getting help. And this is the first of at least the first that I know of the kind of court resolutions to all that. There were 3 charges. 2 were more serious felony charges. They've been, postponed. So they're in a probation state, essentially. So the lesser charge, and I'm just going to make sure I give the correct name, and that is misdemeanor unlawful trespass. Basically, it was alleged that he broke into his neighbor's house, or that they broke into their neighbor's house and stole, I think it was like whiskey or something, just some booze. But they've pleaded that, and they're going to essentially get a fine, some probation. I hope that's a good sign of good things to come. I don't want to get into the rights and wrongs of crime and punishment and all this. I just know that there's been enough stuff happening that something like this is maybe a step forward into resolving things for everybody involved. So hopefully it'll continue this way, and any more news stories we hear are going to be of this kind of resolution end of things rather than of more new bad things.
No, we wish Ezra like the best of recoveries, and hopefully that they get the help that they want, and kind of to help them, which could get past all this and hopefully get them back onto the screen again. That's what
looking forward to Flash. Looking forward to Flash. Really.
And I'm looking forward to a couple of other things as well. Like as long as they're they want to get back on the screen and stuff like that. So
Well, there's the Wizarding World stuff, I guess, as well, which I forget about because I'm not into that, and I know they're part of it, so that's cool. The other side of things, Paul, is it's all serious, so I'm not going to diminish anything that's happening, or any other previous allegations against Ezra Miller. But Alec Baldwin, it's it's getting super serious from a criminal point of view. So up for 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter for the death on the set of Rust. Everybody's heard the story by now. Both he and the armorer are being charged, whereas the other producer is not. And they have it's been confirmed that they again pled guilty to having involvement in this, so that this is now the outcome. That it's likely that Alec Baldwin's going to face these charges, and the outcome, if guilty, is anywhere between 1 and 5 years in jail, I believe, depending on how it's categorized. I wanted to bring this up simply to kind of say we can't ignore it, but it's a good and important time to maybe at the start of this year. Let's hope we make it through. We talked about the Oscars and we didn't really bring up the Will Smith slap, because let's hope we never have to talk about that kind of stuff again. I'm really hoping that after all of this, we're not going to ever have to talk about gun deaths on sets. And I hope the good thing that can come out of this is, and I'm not just talking about responsible use of firearms, but really, really everybody tightening everything up so that no set can ever be run in a loose fashion where this could happen again.
yeah, this has kind of opened the eyes of kind of I guess how what you guess it's they definitely deserve to kind of learn their lesson and see how what you guess they may have not let everything go as loose as they possibly have in the past, kind of thing. So it's one of those things that, like, you need some people maybe on set that are independent away from the movie, kind of thing, to make sure that they are following strict kind of guidelines and everything like that. But yeah, it's one of those things that just brings to light maybe some laxes in rules and everything like that that just haven't that need to be once again looked at as a kind of very strict line, kind of thing. So
charge is definitely necessary. Let's let the courts do the rest of the deciding, and I don't think we'll have to cover a whole lot more about it. That's the way it should go. But I think the fallout, I hope, will be positive in the grander scheme of things. I think at some stage, Paul, during the year, as a result of whatever this might be, we might end up having an interesting conversation about should sets have dangerous weapons at all. There's not supposed to have been live rounds there, but should there have been guns capable of firing live rounds? Should CG and rubber guns be made de rigueur for anybody with a budget over X, Y, or Z? There's all sorts of conversations to be had around it.
Yeah. We're not in any way deferring this kind of tragic problem or anything, or tragic incident or anything like that. We're just focusing on what could positively come out of this, in the sense of more stricter guidelines. Maybe the fact that, yeah, as you said, more like, weapons that are able to fire live ammunition are removed, essentially. I understand that the reason that they have them is because, they want to make it more realistic and everything like that. But in this day and age, we have the possibility of making a lot of things more realistic without making them dangerous. So, which goes, it's just hopefully that they'll the industry as a whole will learn the lesson, and that which get the people who involved in this tragic incident are put through a fair court trial and everything like that.
Let's hope everybody tightens their stuff up so no more tragic loss of life has to happen, essentially. So, Paul, is there a brighter, better bit of news that you can pick from your list?
Probably should go for that one right now. Then we'll go for the one that I've been banging on about, like, every now and again, which is Tron 3.
Tron 3.
The Jared Leto, which is not Jared Leto. It is Jared. I know. Wait, hang on.
Who are you thinking of?
Not Jay Leto, Jared Leto.
Jay Leno or Jared Leto.
That's who I was thinking of. Jay Leno. I don't know why.
One's a late night host.
Yeah, and one of them
The
is
other is a terrible, although maybe brilliant Joker. We don't know.
yeah. Yeah. So Jared Leto, he's been involved in the Disney Tron 3 movie for a while now. Which is there has been talks that Olivia Wilde and Gareth Harold also will be returning as their which is characters, but we've also have found out that there is a which is a director in talks now, which there has been previously before, but which is this seems to be a little bit more serious because kind of budget stuff is also being kind of talked about as well. This is Joachim Ronning, which is Witcher. Yeah, as I said, he's in talks right now to kind of helm the Tron 3 movie. I'm excited because it's probably one of the most stylized films that I really still enjoy. With I'm just gonna be sad because Daft Punk don't exist anymore, and they won't be able to do the soundtrack because
it's time for somebody else to step in, Paul. We can always get new things that are just as good. So yeah, we've been big supporters of Tron Legacy, Tron 2. Saying that people were too mean and too hard on it, and actually, as far as sequels go, it's one of the better ones. So yeah, I'm pumped. Don't get me wrong, this is going to sound mean, but Jared Leto's name is just something that I don't want to hear attached to anything I like anymore. And it's nothing against, Jared Leto.
Mm-hmm.
It's more just, I don't know, maybe it's the Morbius effect. I don't know what it is. I'm just like, do you have to be involved? Because great if you're the one making it happen, but like, is there anybody else that could make it happen instead of Jared Leto? Saying maybe go away because you scare me.
I agree, except for if he is playing a bad guy who's like a creepy billionaire man from the future, like he did in Blade Runner. Which is because I gotta say, him
Good
as a Joker, not great. Him as a which is a half bat, half man thing, which was an interesting choice for the film, not for him. He was obviously going to play some weird thing. But if he's going to play essentially the replacement of like Clue from Tron Legacy or something like that, the new. Kind of, or even just a business person who, which is, oh god, I can't remember his name. In the original Tron, the business guy who's working with Master.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, yep. If he's playing some kind of seedy businessman who's trying to, which is take over the network and stuff like that, then yeah, I can definitely see Jared Leto is going to be a really good kind of creepy, kind of weird businessman. If he's playing one of the programs or something like that, and he's a good guy, it's going to be weird. Like,
yeah, I don't want to be mean or rush to any judgment. It's just a deep down worried feeling I get now when I see his name, and it probably is just the Morbius effect. It's very unfair. Also, from what I know, Jared Leto has a band. So maybe I don't know if their music's any good. Maybe there's a whole soundtrack coming from that band there. Someone let us know in the comments down below if Jared Leto's band's any good.
Yeah,
fingers crossed they are if they end up doing the soundtrack.
Yeah, I do get your point though that he has now become a more unweighted quantity within a film. He either could be good or he's either good or terrible, and it's not like good and bad. Like good, you're kind of like, okay, cool, he doesn't take anything from the movie, but he doesn't add anything really overly to the movie. When he's terrible, it's kind of just like, you are a gigantic beacon in the middle of this movie that every time I see your face, I'm just like, what are you doing? Kind of thing. So
it is hard to ignore poo in the middle of your dinner plate. It doesn't matter how good the rest of the dinner is. But it looks like commentary kind of agrees, except they're a hell of a lot harsher than I was. Why must they keep casting Jared Leto in films? Jared Leto would still be bad if he was playing Jared Leto. And then just one last one. Paul, now I missed Daft Punk all over again. Well, look, that's the thing about musical artists and artists in general. You always have the work they did. So don't miss them. Enjoy their body of work all over again. Yeah. So when you're done listening to us, get yourself right into some Defunk from Daft Punk.
Just get Dazzled on. Just put Dazzled on.
There you go.
Just put dazzled on. Yeah, it's
What do we
going to be an
got?
interesting. I think he is a producer of it, so I think that's also one of the reasons why he is involved in it. So that's the only other
Okay.
kind of reason why he probably is involved in this. And I feel like that's going to be a running thing with some of the films for currently time, while he trying to rebuild his reputation as a decent actor. But moving on to other scary faces. Scary face in Scream 2. See what I
Okay.
did there? See what I did?
See the scary faces. Yeah, so there's more Scream. More
Yeah.
Scream, because you can never have enough Scream, it would appear.
Yeah, Scream 6 is coming out, which was, we got the trailer about a week or two ago, but we got another follow-up trailer with some interesting kind of returns from the franchise as well. This is to me, so Courtney Cox is returning as which is her original character,
Gail Weathers.
Yeah, and there is also Heidi, damn it, which is
Heidi.
it's her character name, but yeah, no, she's there's a couple of returning characters that are from the legacy of Scream, which has been interesting because from the trailer it seems like this is more going into kind of a grouping film. My problem is that it's starting to remind me of the Saw franchise, not in a gore way kind of thing, more in the kind of like the connecting strings are now being tied together, whereas originally the only thing that tied them together was essentially the killer.
Right.
Where now it feels like they're kind of bringing them together and making this into some kind of like weird ritual thing. We're on the verge of Season of the Witch from Halloween, or Friday the 13th, kind of thing. So you know, so yeah, I'm interested to seeing Courtney Cox again, which is reprising her role. She's one of the tougher final survivors. So like, yeah, I'm interested in seeing her return. I also haven't seen Courtney Cox on anything except for the Friends reunion, so it'll be interesting to see her back, kind of thing, as her, which is very brave. She's the one who started doing the whole double tap thing in movies. I'm fairly sure that she like started that whole thing off. So I'm interested to see further.
Make sure the bad guy's dead. I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm looking at the Scream mask and I'm starting to see less scary and more somebody going, oh. I think that's the face I made when I saw the cat Twitter of James Gunn's cat.
Yeah, it wasn't unusual saying that you were just like, oh, he's a really nice cat.
So yeah, I've less fear of Scream now that I'm starting to see that it's just a big awe face.
We are getting a more violent, which is very funny to say, which is one of the things that the producer said and director. It's like, you're getting a more violent, which is Scream, which was just like, it's a horror movie. We wouldn't expect. There's a certain level that we expect, but like saying that it's going to be more violence is definitely not a seller. Like, it was one of those advertisement things that I was very much. PR didn't prove that, did they? You just said it, kind of thing. Because they were just like, it's a horror movie. They expect it to be violent.
Yeah. Well, we'll take whatever they give us. All right, Paul. So, what have we got? Have we got anything else before wrap up?
We have some honorable mentions. Which
yes, and Avatar is still making all the money in the world. Avatar 2, I should say, The Way of Water, or as I like to think of it, Avatar 2, the 13 years of waiting to make billions of dollars. Anybody who's seen it, I hope you enjoyed it. I'm sick of kicking that film around because I'm obviously in the minority, yet maybe I'm not. Maybe everybody dislikes it, and just like me, they gave it money so that it would be one of the biggest grossing movies of all time.
My theory is it's going to do the same thing that Avatar 1 did, which is everybody's going to love it for the first couple of months and then everybody's going to turn on it. And I don't know if that's a good thing in the sense of it feels very superficial the first time that people turned on it, kind of thing.
I turned on Avatar, the original, soon after I left the cinema. And similarly with this, I turned on it before the credits rolled. So yeah, I'm I'm maintaining consistency, but the problem is I do the same thing over and over again. I'm like, I gotta see it in IMAX and be fair to it, which is why when Avatar 3 comes out, they're going to get money from my pocket so that I can be fair. But I'll be honest with you, three strikes and you're out. If the third one isn't, if it's more of the same, I won't be seeing the fourth one in a cinema, even if someone goes, "Oh, well, you can never get it if you didn't see it in IMAX." I'll be fine. Uh, they've got one more strike left with me.
Yeah, and I think there's three more to come. Um, just clip that, people. Just clip his face there. Yeah, like I don't know. As I said, I was underwhelmed by the first one when I came out of it. I think I was very much kind of taken up with. I think I was taken up with the hype of kind of going, people going like, yeah, it was really good, and I was just like, yeah, maybe I missed something. And then I was just like, maybe I should just have my opinion, and
Yeah,
that's what happened.
my partner did not like the first one at all. In fact, disliked it more than I did, and is actually defending part two, and thinks it's better than I give it credit for. So, hey, that's what keeps the world going. We all have different opinions. Mine just happen to be right, and the rest of you will all eventually agree.
We also have another honorable mention, which is the Michael Jackson biopic.
Yeah, which Paul Anton Fuqua is has been announced as director.
Mm-hmm.
Which is cool. You know, people will know him. The thing that will give you the most recent reason to know him in relation to all this is, I believe he did the Bohemian Rhapsody, didn't he? I think
Yes.
he did. Um, but he also did, other cool stuff that I like Equalizer and the Runaway Train film that I can't remember what the hell it's called.
Unstoppable.
That one, yeah, I think didn't he do that? No, he didn't. He did Bullet Train. That's
Yeah,
what I'm thinking of.
Bullet Train was good.
Um, but yeah, so I'm down with the idea of anybody getting a movie. I'm just I'm anticipating on this one, Paul, that there's going to be a lot of conversation about what's going to be covered, what should be covered, what's been proven that needs to be talked about or not talked about. It's Michael Jackson. You all know what I'm talking about here, folks. So my big curiosity here is two things. One, there'll be the whole furore over what the movie will be about.
Mm-hmm.
What Michael Jackson era, age, is it going to be the whole thing? Is it going to be the from origin to fame and death? Who knows? Just like with Elvis, nobody knew what they were really going to cover until
Yeah.
they saw the movie. But for me, it's much like the Elvis movie now. It's about casting. Whose career is going to be made or maybe broken off the idea of being cast as Michael Jackson now? I think they're going to have to go with an unknown,
Yep.
because you don't really get to put a name person in here and have them do what Austin Butler did in Elvis.
I wholeheartedly agree. I don't know. You can't get it there. There's no one that you have to get an unknown, because you can't have anyone behind like taking the character or taking the person and kind of rolling with it, because you can't have Bruce Willis doing it, because all you're going to think about is Bruce Willis, kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
You can't have like anyone playing essentially Michael Jackson who has a good body of work, and not to say that that's like shaming anyone who does take it. More the fact is that you have to choose someone who we see Michael Jackson, we don't see the actor. That's that would be my big thing about it. We cannot go into the movie or into the kind of biopic with already a predisposition with the actor, kind of thing.
And when it comes to biopics, Paul, there's the other big challenge of how much do you, Anna Darmus had to struggle with this. Austin Butler is still getting flack for having Elvis's accent and voice still. When it comes to Michael Jackson, there's a few things. How Michael Jackson are you going to be? How affected is your portrayal going to be by mannerisms and voice, etc.?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you got to be able to pull off some dance moves. But yeah, I think it's, of all the biopics in the last kind of 20 years, I think this is the one that I'm most curious about. Maybe not most excited for, but most curious about to see what decisions are made, because the decisions are going to be the thing that decides whether or not this movie's good, bad, or indifferent, I think. more than almost anybody's life story so far.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I agree. So do you remember the movie that he was in?
Moonwalker, the
Moonwalker.
movie he made himself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you
I saw that in
remember?
the cinema.
Do you
That's how
remember?
old I am.
Do you remember the part where two Michael Jacksons essentially just dance together?
Yeah,
They should just get
kind
the
of.
person.
Yeah.
They should just get the other person who did that. They should just get that
Oh, yeah.
person. Yeah, let's get his double. Because obviously they didn't. There was no kind of. There's no. Back in your day, there was no graphics.
No, it was just you're right. Yeah, it was made at a time when the gigantic robot. If you haven't seen that movie, by the way, there's a gigantic Michael Jackson robot at one point.
This
Oh
is
my god! Actually, I've got to watch that thing again.
This is a joke that very few people are going to get because they may not have seen that film. But yeah, no, it'll be an interesting kind of biopic to see Michael Jackson in, which goes, and we'll have to see. But it's a good mention to end the show kind of thing. It's an interesting kind of, I guess, brain teaser of a.
It's one to think on, folks. Do you think you could cast that movie and write it successfully? Or is it the sort of thing that everybody involved with should be just stepping back away? And I see Lisa says the MJ impressionists are dying for the role. I'm sure there are. I'm sure everybody, there's so many people who've been doing Michael Jackson impressions. I hope that much like Austin Butler, because I think whatever whether you liked it or hated it, I'm glad that the Elvis movie was a big boost for his career. He seems like a very nice chap. And he apparently is just mentally stuck with the Elvis accent, for the rest of his life, because he got himself so deep into it. I know the speech coach was saying he mightn't even realize he's doing it anymore. So that might just be the way he talks.
That's bad.
So, and R.I.P. Lisa Marie, before somebody says we didn't mention it, because that's one of the other notable pieces of news in relation to movies. Just shortly after the Golden Globes, after a movie about her father won an award, and somebody who played her father, called her out in an audience, she passed away. So it's quite sad.
Yeah, it was very sad. So we should thank you very much for watching. If you like, share, ring that notification bell, all that kind of YouTubey jazz and things. So don't forget to hit that like button. There's a few people in the chat, so I want to see a couple of likes. Thanks very much. Which is comment down below if there's any news articles or news stories in January that we missed that you think deserve a little bit more time. Type down below in the comments also if let's not do the whole Dark World thing again. If there's any stories that we missed out, please put them down in below, and also some of your thoughts on some of the movie or news things that we brought up today. Don't forget that we have a large backlog of work that we would love you to have a look at and everything. We'll see you next Thursday for another show. Patrick, have anything to add?
No, I'd just like to say it's going to be a great year, and Everything Everywhere All at Once should win everything. But I'm not biased at all.
Well,
I'm very biased.
Next year, next show, you're gonna see Everywhere All at Once sponsored T-shirts, which is one of the cast members just walking in the background, just to pay him.
Hey, Michelle Yeoh.
Hey, if she's over there, then she's gonna be on the show next week. Thanks very much. Subscribe, ring that notification bell, as we said, and also check out our friends at It Takes Two YouTube channel, and also podcast where you get all their podcasts, and Pop Culture as well, who generally is an average watcher as well. Thank you very much for today. We'll see you next week. I've been Paul,
and I've been Patrick,
and we've been Hear Us Out. Bye bye.
See you soon, folks. Bye.